Hey everybody, welcome back to Budget Bladesman. So this is the follow-up of our most recent Amazon EDC challenge. So again, these are the things I normally carry every day or pretty close proximity. So we have a flashlight, a multi-tool, a pocket knife, a wallet, and a pen. So let's go over each one and kind of give us our thoughts. So first we're going to look at the flashlight. So this is the UltraTac K1. It's a AAA flashlight. You can see it has a pocket clip. It also has a little clip attachment. So you can see this is actually a two. You can flip it around either side of the clip. And see how that's how I have it with the head up. You can also flip it around and put it the other way with the tail switch up. I just liked it this way because it actually worked out pretty well because there's really not a way to put this unless you put it in your fifth pocket. So the way I did this is I actually used the clip to clip it into my pants like this. So the head of this was sticking out and that just kind of laid in my pocket just like that. So it actually worked out pretty well, this having a little bit of a clip on there. So I did like that. Okay, so this has three different modes. This has, and the way it goes is high, low, and then strobe. So I'll show you those real quick. So first we're going to do high. You see there's your high. It has a very bright beam, not a lot of spill. I'm not really a flashlight expert, so I'm just kind of showing you what I see. Okay, and then we'll do medium or the low setting. So that's a low. You can kind of see a smaller, a little bit more spill. And then just a warning, guys, we're going to do the strobe. So just be aware, this is the strobe mode. So you can see in a strobe mode. So, and I think this came in just a little over $11. So I thought it was a pretty good value for that. You know, I'd have three modes for 11 bucks. It's not something you normally see at that price point. Normally you just have one mode. So that's pretty cool. I guess the comp would be, I think it's the Olight i3T. No, I'm sorry. The Olight i3 EOS, which is their AAA flashlight. It is a little bit longer than that. I think the Olight's about that length. Again, though, it doesn't have a pocket clip, so it just sits in your pocket. It does have a spot for a lanyard, but this one obviously doesn't, but it has the clip if you wanted to clip it, or you could also, as you can see, put it on a keyring if you want to do that and get rid of this and this. So it's not really all that big. It is pretty cool that you can pocket clip it into your pants. I did like it. I do like that it has the three modes. I've had other UltraTac, I should say, before. I have a very large one that has a rechargeable battery, and I've had that one for several years, and it's held up pretty well. So I think UltraTac does make a pretty good product. So this also did have a glow-in-the-dark cover diffuser. I don't really use those. It did. I will say that the glow-in-the-dark thing worked for days and days and days. I had it off to the side in my room, and you could see it at night even after a week. So I know that the glow-in-the-dark function for the diffuser works pretty well. I don't know how well it works because I know a lot of the times that the meaning of those is to kind of like, you know, use it as a cone or like a, you know, a warning cone. You could do that, or sometimes just to, you know, have it as like a lamp. Of course, with the push button on the bottom, it really wouldn't work that way. But other than that, a lot of features and a lot of stuff for, you know, just over 11 bucks. So that was a pretty good find, I thought. Next, we're going to move on to the Gerber Curve. That is our multi-tool. So it has quite a few different functions. First, you know, you can see the carabiner clip here. So if you wanted to, you could clip this on to, like I did with that, or any other, you know, keychain, what have you. Also does have the bottle opener. You can see little bottle insignia there. And then it has several tools that'll pop out here. So we have a blade. And then let's close that up. We'll go over these each one. It is a little hard to do on camera, so excuse me for that. And then we're going to go to the next one, which is a large flathead. And then the next tool, let's see. Really like that flathead, I guess. You see we have a Phillips with two different files. There's a regular file and then a crosshatch file on the back. So we have two different files on the Phillips one. And then we also have a small flathead. So quite a few different tools packed into something very compact. The other thing I do like about this, we'll pull out the flathead just for that, is it actually has a lock. That's what I was struggling with to do on camera. You can see right there, though, it is a lock right there. And I'll hold a little pickup on camera. It is a lock. There we go. You can see lock there. So you just slide it back and it releases the tool. So what I do like that about with this, with the flathead, it does give you with it locking, kind of does gives you a very small pry tool. Of course, very small. You're not going to pry anyone crates open with this guy, but getting under some small stuff and prying small stuff up will work pretty well for that. Like I said, there is actually another way you can unlock the tools. You don't have to necessarily slide. You can actually, what you can do is you can pick out one of the other tools and start to open it, and you get about halfway, and see then you can close multiple tools at once. One other thing, let's go ahead and pull out that Phillips one more time. It is a 3D printed Phillips. You kind of see there's some indentations to kind of make it more, instead of those ones that are just kind of angled to make it like a Phillips. It actually does have the cutout notches on there, so it actually does get hold a little bit stuff a little bit better. But I would be careful to make sure that the one bad thing about it is it still doesn't quite grip like a normal 3D, or excuse me, a normal Phillips, and you can strip things if you're not careful. I almost stripped a couple of screws with that, but other than that, it does work pretty well. So, but just keep in mind that this still isn't a regular Phillips, and you can still strip stuff with it. But other than that, a pretty good little tool. I want to say this was I want to say $12. So not a bad little keychain pocket tool. Would definitely come in handy. Like I said, you have a backup blade on there, a couple other little tools. So definitely came in handy. I did like this. I will say I didn't really use the blade a whole lot, maybe once or twice, and it seemed to work fine and cut well. It was sharp, so nothing really to say about that. But other than that, it was a pretty decent little tool. So now we'll move on to what I'm sure most of you guys are really wanting to see. And we have a Kershaw here, as you can see. You can zoom, there we go, Kershaw. And this is the Kershaw Appa. You can see it's a very slim design. I don't want to use this term, but I'm going to anyways, because it kind of fits that profile as just a quote-unquote gentleman's knife. Of course, this is all black, so it doesn't really necessarily pertain to that, but it's that style where it's just real thin and slender profile. It is a pretty good little knife. It is assisted. It kind of almost has a half stop. You can see, because the blade stopped right there, and you actually have to kind of give it some force, like if it were a traditional knife. And then it closes all the way. You can actually definitely hear it fire out. It is an assisted knife. Again, it does have some see-through construction. It is a liner lock. It is ambidextrous. You can see pocket holes there if you wanted to have it for a left-hand carry. Of course, right-hand carry. And you can see that you have your lanyard hole there. It definitely did give this knife some work. You can see still a little residue on the tip there. But overall, pretty good little knife. I want to say this was just over $16. So for that price point, not bad at all. Like I said, if you're not into assisted, you're not going to like this knife. But as long as that's not an issue for you, it's not a bad little knife. For $16, you could definitely do worse. And I believe the steel is 8CR13, but I haven't really done the whole research into this as if I was doing a knife review. So don't quote me on that, but I think it is 8CR. All right, sorry about that. Just bumped everything. Okay, so now we'll move on to the wallet. And this is the Gossin Leather's wallet. You can see it has 1, 2, 3 card slots back there, ID slot there. It also has, just has the card ID slot. Actually does have a pocket as well, you can see. So you can put your cards back there, your cash or whatever you need in the middle there. It is leather. I will say the one thing about this wallet, I do like how thin it is, but the one thing that was really, and let me see if I can, it still kind of has a faint, it almost has like a mildewy smell, which is weird. I looked through the wallet, I didn't see any, but it almost smells like something like, this is leather, so like wet leather that's just been sitting. It wasn't damp, or there wasn't any mold or humidity in the bag that I took it out of, if you guys saw the other video. But for whatever reason, it had just a very weird smell to it. And I will say the first 2 or 3 days I carried it, it was, whenever I was in the car, you could smell it throughout the entire car. It did dissipate over time. You can still faintly smell it if you actually go and smell the wallet. But I mean, who really smells their wallet? But I will say, you definitely did notice it, especially the first week. It did dissipate over time, but it was something that was kind of weird. And I don't know that it would necessarily, it looks good, and it functioned well. No damage to it. But I mean, I don't know. I just was kind of weirded out by that smell that it had for a while. So I don't know if that's something I'd go with again. And so finally, we'll move on to the pen. And this is the Uniball 207. And you get two of these for, I think it was $2 or $3. Very cheap, very inexpensive pen. Just your typical gel pen you just see. So nothing really fancy. It does feel very cheap, I guess you'd say, but it wrote well. I had this in my pocket all the time, and at least over the 2 weeks that I carried it, I didn't have any issues as far as you can see that the clip is still intact, so nothing broke, but it does feel very light and very cheap. I will say that I didn't realize this because I don't really get into that bag that often, but I do carry a backup bag in my backpack that has, pocket knife, multi-tool, just some extras just in case I forget something. I actually did have one of these in my bag, and that one still wrote as well, and that pen's probably been in there for 2 or 3 years. So I will say that the ink does seem to last on these. So that is definitely a plus. Again, it's just your regular ink jet or gel pen, and no problems with it. I do like that it writes in a medium style. Again, for what fit into this budget carry, it worked fine. Like I said, you do get a 2 pack, so I mean the good thing is, I guess, if you lose one, you still have the other. So I mean, all in all, it was fine. It did its job, wrote well. If you like the gel style pens, then this will work pretty well. So all in all, a fairly good carry. I was fairly happy with the way everything worked. Like I said, I think probably the standout is the flashlight. Just for, I think it was, like I said again, $11. Just the all the function and form you get for that. And again, it's AAA, so that's pretty good. I think you can. I mean, you can find a AAA just about anywhere. So I definitely think that was the thing that if it were one thing that I would definitely recommend, it would be that. I will say the Kershaw was decent for its price. All in all, I think everything was pretty decent. Like I said, the one thing, the wallet, like I said, did have a scent, and I don't know, maybe that was just mine. I couldn't tell you, but I definitely would not carry this wallet again. I think if you watch the last Amazon video, the previous carry I did, I had a travel Lambo wallet. That would probably be the way I would point you in instead of this, even though this does look nice. Just that off-putting scent, especially. I mean, like I said, you could still smell a scent on this, and this is a little over 2 weeks now, so I don't know. That's something I recommend. I mean, it's not that it's a bad-looking wallet or anything like that. It's just that's just weird. And again, pen, nothing to write home about. It does the job. It's not going to be like a Fisher Space pen or anything like that, but for $2 or whatever it was, it's fine. So all in all, like I said, this was a pretty decent carry. I was pretty happy for the most part, and most of the stuff I would definitely recommend. Like I said, with the maybe exception of the wallet, even the multi tool for a keychain multi tool. It's not a bad little thing. It's not super thick or super big. You got yourself a beverage opener on the end of that as well. So thank you guys again for checking this out. Be sure to stay tuned and see. I'm going to be doing some knife reviews and probably doing a few more of these EDC challenges if you guys like these. So thanks again for tuning in. We'll check you guys next time. Bye.